Wait. Okay, so welcome back to our second episode. Yeah, so we're here on Tail Trails. Right now, where we at?
Revere. On a very peculiar day, we got 3 helicopters above us right now looking for us. Well, not looking for us, hopefully.
Nah.
But
It's kind of weird.
Yeah, it's Revere. What, Wednesday?
It's a Wednesday,
November 10th.
November 10th. It's around 2:25. It's a clear sky. It's pretty cool outside, but it's kind of weird, like the way this is working. Like again, as Janelle said, we have right now 2 helicopters. Like probably they're looking for somebody. It's kind of weird.
It's like helicopters are.
Yeah.
I think there's one even further back.
Yeah.
Either somebody got away, murder, or they're escaping.
I don't know.
Either way, man. Tail Trail Trail podcast.
Yep.
Part 2.
So this is the second episode, and this haven't been too much like lately going on. This is 1 week since our first episode. We're feeling pretty comfortable now with it, and yeah, hope you enjoy this new episode. We're gonna talk about a couple of different stuff, like I don't know, what don't you start?
About for starters, the crazy news that's been happening in the city lately. Like the last 4 days, there's been like 2 different incidences where police officers are getting stabbed or shot at, which is something that you normally don't hear about in mainstream media when it comes to the city of Boston. But
yeah,
that's really like been getting like more prominent, and people have to be more aware about it, especially now during times when there's a lot of police officers quitting the force due to like vaccine mandates and other reasons. But it's just another reminder of like that's a difficult job and we're in a difficult time.
Yeah, I know. Like, to be honest, I wasn't even like aware of it until you mentioned it when we were coming to Revere to shoot. It's like usually you don't want to get into that mindset. Like
You don't want to hear news.
you don't want to hear news like that. It's like put you down, And there's already too many bad things happen in the world for like get that type of news,
Yeah, I mean, it's something you don't really expect either. I mean, you would think that, obviously, police officers have a difficult job, but you would think that people have the common sense to, you're gonna get killed or go to jail for, assaulting a police officer. And in both cases, each suspect ended up getting, deadly force because, the officers were in this case, really like fighting for their lives. Somebody got stabbed in their neck. The other police officers were in a standoff for about like 4 or 5 hours until, the suspect started letting off shots.
And this is something that you don't actually like expect to happen like that often. First of all, on a city like Boston.
Yeah, but that's the narrative that people believe, that a city like Boston is very nice and copacetic. No, it has its flaws and it has its dark side too. Like
I know, but like I'm telling you, like trying to put it on a different perspective. Me coming from a different country where like nobody basically follow the rules and they don't care about the law.
It's almost like it's like a joke. Like people, the government doesn't really support the people, and the people don't really respect the government.
Yeah.
But when you look at it, we're both wearing Red Sox hat right now.
Yeah, that's true.
So that's the narrative. People love Boston for its sports. It's a very prosperous place. You got Harvard and Cambridge. You got a lot of education up here and a lot of mobility, economy. It's a sanctuary city. But when you hear about situations like that, it just puts things in perspective, and it's a reminder that we don't, any day anything could happen.
Yeah.
And going back to the thing about a police officer. If I was a cop, that would be in the back of my mind anytime I speak to anybody.
Yeah.
So it's just like, you gotta cut some people some slack, even though they do need a lot of reform, and they, that system could be, there needs to be more checks and balances, but these are just reminders that, hey, these people have a difficult job.
No, they do. Like nobody wants to have that same type of job. Knowing that you're putting your life on risk, like every time you go out to work, that's not an easy
So I got a question for you. So since you said you come from a country where people basically don't respect, the government, or they don't really care about it, how do you feel living here compared to living there? Like, do you feel safer here? Do you feel like there's more opportunities, or do you feel like
there's a lot, bro? Like, obviously you miss sometimes the like where you grew up and all, but just having the feeling that you can go out at any time, that you don't have to look behind your shoulder, like you feel safe. To be honest, you feel safe being out here
in Boston compared to Guatemala?
Compared to Guatemala, yeah.
And that's zona, ¿cuál zona?
I used to live outside the city. It was a place called Villanueva.
Yeah.
That is, it's actually like considered zona roja, like a kind of like
a dangerous area.
A dangerous area, yeah. So, but I used to live on a nice neighborhood. But yeah, you feel safe. Like, you can go out here 2, 3 a.m., put your phone out, order an Uber, and you know that you're not gonna get killed just because somebody wants to rob you.
Or the chances of it are minimalized. Because we had, I don't, a couple years ago in our old restaurant, we had a coworker who was stabbed.
Yeah, that's
and
true.
This is a guy that that we know to be a friendly dude. A person who's not really confrontational with people.
That's true.
And he's a pretty big guy too.
Yeah, but what I'm saying is, like, I mean, this was a different type of situation. But
that's going back to perspective, like, but the chances are that you would probably get robbed or killed are minimalized.
Yeah, totally. No.
You don't have to worry about that as much as you would in your home country.
Yeah, and the opportunities too, bro, because like I went to school for 5 years to graphic design over there. I didn't have the chance to do much with it back there, but then moving to Boston, I had the opportunity. I was part of 2 exhibitions as a photographer, like showing my work. That
there goes that mass hole driving.
that over there in Guatemala wouldn't be, like, I probably wouldn't have the same opportunity to do it as I've been doing it over there.
Yeah.
So
there's so much businesses, so much different companies that require that type of work. So it's it's a good environment for that.
It's a lot of stuff that you cannot compare to what goes on back in Guatemala. Like, if you put the minimum wage over there, it's like $400 a month. $400 a month.
$400 a month. Over here, the minimum wage would be $400 a week. So you're making about like
4 times.
4 times more on average, and that's still 2 margins of poverty, because you're still considered
below the.
Like, for example, I was talking to my brother the other day. He's 18 years old, and he has a job now. He has money saved. He has investments, and I've been trying to put things into perspective of, like, hey, the average American only makes so much, and the average household only makes so much.
Yeah. So,
for example, last time I checked, average household in America, this is every single state all accumulated, is 57,000. A little bit over 57,000. That's considering everybody's income in the household.
Damn.
Because that could mean somebody makes 30, and another person makes 20, and another person makes.
And that's above poverty line, or?
I think the poverty line. I think you have to make above. I think if you're making like $12,000 and lower a year, you're like,
below poverty line.
You're below the poverty line. But making around 12,000 to like 15,000 or 17,000, I think that's like, you're just right there of not being in poverty if you're an individual. But imagine people who have to take care of children and families and rent and
Yeah.
food and insurances and cell phone bills, cable bills, Netflix.
Yeah, I know. There's like, again, putting in perspective, coming out from a foreign country, you can just say, oh, life over here it's easier because you get more money, but they don't think on like how much of that money they have to spend. Like they don't know
And
how
living.
much they pay for rent. They don't know how much they pay again for cell phone bill, like internet for the house, just the insurance, like the pass for the train is like 85, 90 bucks a month.
Transportation, whether you take public or private, if you have a car.
Yeah,
It's like, so that's the conversation I had with them. I was basically like putting things in perspective. Like, if you want to live this type of lifestyle, you have to make this much money. Because I was telling them, if you want to live in a nice new apartment, a one
like 1700.
outside in like a
Outside,
place like
yeah.
Revere, like here, so
Yeah.
maybe even 2,000. But if you want to be in the city of Boston, it's gonna be
Like
2,000 to 2,600
Yeah.
or $3,000. That
Yeah.
a year would be between 25K and
That's
a year.
just in rent.
And that's just in your home, like where you're gonna live. That's
Yeah.
not all the expenses of life you need, or the unfortunate events that might cause a financial burden.
No, it's like what you were saying. Like 85% of Americans don't have like even 500 bucks for an emergency, and that's fucked up.
And that's why a lot of people like have been complaining, and they complain about these people like these billionaires like Elon Musk and Jeff Bezos, or you know, CEOs of Fortune 500 companies.
Yeah.
People talk a lot about that. And at the end of the day, also there has to be like a level of education when it comes to finances. And,
Yeah.
And I myself, I'm struggling with certain things that a lot of people struggle with. Debt. I got auto debt, I got personal debt, I got life expenses in terms of I have a lifestyle.
Yeah.
I like to do certain things, so those things cost money. If somebody wants to go out to a restaurant every night and eat, that costs money.
That costs money. Yeah.
But you got people who are saving every penny and eating ramen noodles because they
That's true.
have a different, goal in the future.
I think that's a lot to do with the mindset that they had, like the goals that they set for themselves and what they want to do. But like, sadly, we as I don't want to go like we as Latinos, but we don't have a culture of savings. We don't.
Or we don't have a culture of building. They'll
True that.
save, but they don't utilize the funds to build maybe a business or into real estate property and to make income from it. Some
Yeah,
do
that's true.
a certain percentage, and we see them.
Yeah,
Because we know
you know.
successful restaurant owners, liquor store owners.
Yeah.
We know people who own clothing stores, people who own cleaning services. These are
Yeah,
companies
that's true.
that'll give you six figures, and if you're making six figures in America, you're looking pretty good.
Yeah,
If you
you're
have
comfortable.
a large family, it all depends on what your expenses.
But even having a regular family, let's say a 4 people family, your wife, 2 kids, making over like 6 figures, you're gonna be good. Because
Depending on how you want to live.
yeah, well, yeah, that's
Now, if you
true.
want to have a huge house that has a huge mortgage, and you want to have a nice backyard, and you want to have nice cars in the driveway,
yeah,
that 100,000
won't be sufficient.
might not be sufficient. Maybe 200,000 will, maybe 300,000, but you're still in that six-figure
Yeah.
bracket.
Man,
But it all depends on how people wanna live.
Yeah, how they want to live. But at the end of the day, remember that we've talked about this a couple of times. Like, what are the basic human needs?
And
A way to make money.
a way to make a living.
Hmm.
And I feel
So
like in the city of Boston, there's a lot of opportunities for things like that to happen.
yeah, I think that, like, I don't know if you heard about this trend about being minimalistic on a way of life, like a minimalistic way of life. That this type of, the people that follow that line, they usually want to have enough to put everything like all of their belongings on a suitcase and they can move around like.
Kind of like Kanye.
Yeah.
Kanye's been doing something like that apparently. He says that he hasn't been staying in his homes or anything. Like he's just been traveling, and if he goes somewhere, he'll stay at a friend's house. But he calls his bag his home.
Yeah. It's like as long as you can have everything you need on your bag, like you're good. And that's a minimalistic way of living.
We're nomads and stuff. We
Yeah.
we should be able to live off the land and whatever resources we have. Because at the end of the day, what you are is your body.
Yeah.
And just be in one place, another, and that's the I don't know. There's different perspectives. But I heard of something like that about millennials being more like that. You're not getting in debt, not having children, not getting married.
Yeah.
Because they're living minimalistic lives, and they're living lives that they don't have to really commit to.
Yeah. I don't know. I mean, I think it's a cool way of seeing things because mostly what tie you up is that you want to get something and it can be cool, it can be good for you because it can motivate you to get like a little bit closer to your goals, but also it makes you feel that you're never gonna get enough of it. Like if you have an apartment, then you want to own the apartment, then you want a house, then you want a bigger house, then you have a regular car, and then you want a newer car, and that's something that's never gonna end. Like you're always gonna have.
There's always gonna be another option. There's always
Yeah.
gonna be something better, bigger, and but at the end of the day, that's when people have to start to utilize the ability to be content.
Yep.
The ability to have gratitude. The ability to be like, hey, it could be worse.
Yeah.
It could be better, but it could be worse too. So understanding both perspectives, you know? 'Cause
Yeah.
If you just think it could be better, it could be better, it could be better, that means that you're not even taking a second to
It's
look.
like you're not happy with what you get.
Yeah.
And I mean, this is not.
Isn't that a
this is-
sin?
Yeah, it is. I mean, I'm not saying that that you should be settled with what you have, because that's not the way. But like knowing that you don't actually have to have the newer phone, have to have a newer car, have to have a better or a bigger house. Like,
I've had this phone since 2018, and we're about to enter 2022.
yeah,
I don't care about the iPhone 11, 12, 13, 14, 15 until this one is completely obsolete, which I don't think it is, because there's still people using flip phones to this
Yeah.
day. I feel like I'm gonna be.
I have the iPhone X, and it was because my brother changed his phone because I had iPhone. I think it was the iPhone 7, and I had it for like 4 years, and then my brother changed it. Like I was okay.
I had the 6 prior to getting the 10.
I told my brother I give you $200 for it, and I was like, all right.
I still play PS4.
Yeah, no, I have the PS5. I
You
got
know?
my PS5.
You know, and
Yeah.
And my brother has a PS5, but
Yeah, but again, like as long as you as an individual feels joy and
what you're doing.
enjoy things that you have, like don't try not to feel empty if you don't get a new phone, or like you don't get the job that you want, as long as you have a way to make money. Like, I don't know, that's probably me getting older thinking that way, but I think there's other things in life that you could focus more on.
Yeah,
No?
I mean, I feel like right now, how do you feel about something like the metaverse becoming a thing? Facebook changing its
Yeah.
name to metaverse, and basically, I mean, we've already been living in a metaverse, because right now we're speaking on technology and we're
Yeah.
being recorded by technology. You're gonna edit this on technology, and
And
you're
we're
gonna
gonna
put it on a
eventually put it on
software,
some-
which is
yeah.
a platform. So we've already been living in this, but now that we've identified basically the secondary world.
Yeah, I was reading that when Mark Zuckerberg did the announce about it, and it seems that it's going to be a different type of platform. That doesn't mean that that social media is gonna die. This
It's
is
gonna grow.
It's gonna grow. It's gonna be a different approach.
It's
I mean,
already a secondary world.
It's supposed to be like a virtual reality type of thing.
Social media, virtual reality.
Yeah, no,
almost.
but
you have an avatar, basically
Yeah.
all your best pictures, all your best moments.
Yeah, but this
it
is
doesn't really
supposed to
reflect
be
your actual
something.
life.
This is supposed to be something more like on a line that we were supposed to be doing social media or virtual world back in a couple of years, like how people thought of like virtual world.
How
would
people
be.
think that, how people maybe back in 1985 thought that in the year 2021 we'd be flying cars.
Yeah.
They had no idea that a year prior we'd be in our freaking houses and not wearing masks, worried about getting a vaccine or getting sick. They didn't think about that.
And now we're already like we can already get a third shot, like a boosting shot.
I'm gonna be hesitant about that. You know?
Yeah, no, but what I'm saying is like
I'll take it like maybe. All right, so after that little mistake,
okay,
man, what
we're
were we
back.
talking about?
We were talking about the metaverse.
So, yeah, man, basically,
I
Mark
mean,
Zuckerberg is the president of a cyber world because on his platform, whether it's Facebook, Instagram, or other technological platforms that he owns under Metaverse or Meta, he basically is the president of a 2 billion populated server populace. There's 2 billion unique users a
Yeah.
day. That's bigger than any country.
I don't think he ever imagined that
I don't think he
Facebook
thought that it was
was
going
going
to get
to
that big.
grow to that, like.
But did people imagine that cell phones were going to be such a big thing in people's lives?
Nah.
30 years ago, in the in the early 90s or 40 years ago in the 80s, people didn't have cell phones. They had a little Walkman, they had a little music, but they didn't have cell phones. They didn't have cameras. They didn't have all these things that are now so attached to us. This is a technological
I mean,
limp.
the first computer was the size of a whole room.
So you can't carry that around.
No. But now, like, you have everything on your palm. Like, but what I was trying to say is like, there was a couple of different social media before Facebook, like Hi-Fi, MySpace, and a couple of other stuff like that. But once
and people talk about like Tinder and like, oh, dating online. Hey, man, when I was 12 years old, 15 years ago, which is what, like back in 06,
yeah,
I remember watching ads on TV. Oh, Christian mingle, right? You know, like that. People, you're talking about specific people dating other people from a specific demographic. So dating online has always been here, but it's just transformed.
Yeah, I mean, the thing is that the actual internet was introduced like around the 40s or 50s, and it was just for military use.
I didn't even know that.
Yeah, it was
spying.
No, but it was like a type of like a way of communication in between like military stuff.
I heard something.
Then you started getting access to it.
I heard that there was this story of a guy who hacked into military frequencies.
Okay.
Like frequencies, like different sounds and he was trying to listen into, and he hacked into something that the frequency was so high that it melted his organs or his brain.
Oh, really?
Yeah, because he illegally hacked into this, and he
that probably
exposed to frequencies that the human sonar is not supposed to hear. So it was like able to. I don't know the credibility to this.
Yeah, I mean, there's a lot of stuff, bro. Like, I don't know if you ever heard about Project HARP.
What?
Project HARP.
I've heard of that. I've heard of that before. What is it?
That's supposed to be like a way of. That's supposed to be something that the government used to find gas or different type of organic stuff, like under the earth and stuff. But it's like they use radio frequencies to it. And the thing is that is so accurate that they can actually project some stuff on on clouds and all. Like they're using microwave and all. So, yeah. So yeah, it's
Yeah, a part of me was about to come out. You know,
Yeah.
the project side of me was about to come out.
But yeah, it's weird. Like, so they're using waves, microwaves, so they can actually. I mean, according to that, they can actually control weather with Project Hard. They can find gas under the earth, like because they throw the waves, and
Yeah.
they resonance to a specific frequency.
Yeah, so I've heard of like the government doing all types of different programs and like, for example, like creating precipitation. So they've been throwing chemicals out to create rain, but the rain is apparently
This is-
not natural.
yeah.
So it's acidic. So
I mean, there's a lot of stuff that we don't know, bro.
yeah, man, it's just ridiculous.
Yeah.
But what are you gonna do about it? I mean, at the end of the day, we're just here for a moment in time. You know?
yeah,
And
no,
at the end of the day,
totally,
there's powers like even people who have financial freedom don't have freedom.
Bro, the way that we've been living now, like our lifespan has reduced. Like, how long older people used to live? Like 90, 100, 110?
Well, I don't know. I feel like people are living longer now, and
Nah.
that's the issue. Because the thing is, 150 years ago, people would die off of simple things.
No, they were dying because of
like you didn't have penicillin.
yeah, but now like I'm talking about like people that goes over 100 years. I don't think we're gonna reach 100.
You and me?
I don't think I even go to 80 probably.
I mean, shit. If I die in my mid 70s or my 80s, I'm not mad. Like I'll be like, damn, I lived a long life.
Yeah.
Because here's the thing. Like I don't remember. I remember talking to somebody. I was talking to this chick and she's 25 years old.
Okay.
You know her. You and I know her. I'm just not gonna say her name for for out of respect. But she said, hey, I've already lived a life. Like I've already experienced what it is to feel this and that, and I've fallen in love, and I've had sex, and I've seen places, and I've worked here, and I've experienced it. So compared to somebody who's like, let's say a baby who was born with cancer and dies at 1 or 2 years old,
Yeah.
who hasn't had the chance to go through the teens, go through young adulthood, go through certain things, because a lot of people also say, damn, I miss my 20s and my 30s. So what are you really looking forward to if your life doesn't, if your future doesn't really look clear? Like, for example, let's say you're in your 20s, you're young, you're spry, you're fucking off all your money. You're spending all your money. You get into your 30s, you're acting the same way. You get into your 40s, you're getting older. You don't have a family. You might get fired from your job because now you're old.
Yeah.
So there's a lot of perspectives of like, maybe some people want to die young.
It's like
Kobe Bryant said that to Tracy McGrady one day.
really?
He said, I want to be immortalized.
I mean,
I don't think he was thinking that when he died.
No,
Later
probably
when he
not.
had his children, he had a life to look forward
yeah,
to after
but
basketball.
if you see like that's something that's really common in between like rock stars and shit, because they reach a point that there's nothing else that can
Their
bring
time
them
has passed them by.
joy. They just like fulfill most of their desires and their
Kurt Cobain,
yeah, Kurt Cobain,
a legend.
like yeah, Amy Winehouse overdosed.
Different stories.
Yeah, but like, so what you do when you reach a point in your life that nothing else
Matters to you.
matters or motivates you or gives you joy or I don't know, man. Like,
I think, but that's another. I feel like that's why age and experience might bring that. Like, if you just feel like you've reached the ceiling, why do you
Yeah.
want to live till you're 60, 70, 80? Nobody's looking for you. Nobody's gonna care. Like if you're older,
yeah.
unless you're somebody who's important. Unless you're doing something that adds value to your life. But if you know, and most people are regular people.
Yeah,
So it's easy to feel that way, probably. It's easy to feel like, damn, old schmuck. Like nobody wants to, nobody cares about me anymore. You know,
Yeah.
like it's easy to think that.
And also
Might not be
like,
the case, but
but remember that it's a different culture over here, because usually in Latin America, like people are like closer, are warmer people, and they take care of their elders. But over here, what they do, like
communal type of
they,
culture.
they, they send the old folks to
Retirement homes,
yeah.
or they get an apartment for them to live by themselves
Yeah.
in some 12-story building with a whole bunch of elderlies. Yeah,
Yeah.
you know, it's a different life, man.
Yeah.
But speaking of, like, you know, not fulfilling or not feeling appreciated after a while, Scottie Pippen.
Scottie Pippen,
Coming
like
out with a new book talking about Jordan is getting too much praise. He's not giving enough credit to his teammates. He's not giving enough credit. People's narrative, the media has like minimalized what he is. And I can understand people not giving a crap about Steve Kerr or not giving a crap about other players.
Yeah.
But Scottie Pippen was his 1B. It was 1A and 1B.
Yeah.
It was Kobe, it was Shaq. It was, you know.
No, I know. We
You know,
talked about this a couple
It
of
was
times
Magic,
before.
it was Kareem.
We talked about this even before he actually came out with his book, you know. But the thing is that
People give Magic and Kareem, they're both just dudes. They're both great respectives.
Yeah.
They don't disrespect it. They don't say no, he was
No.
better
No.
and he needed him. But in the case of Jordan, why in that particular case was that the case? And apparently, I haven't read his book, but
No, me
apparently
neither.
he says that Jordan's ego and his selfishness made him like the way that he was an alpha male, controlled the narrative of the media and controlled the narrative of
like, but
essentially
what you do
everybody
with a guy
else's.
like that? It's like you
Every-
gotta
every-
step up,
Yeah.
you know. And Pippen can say whatever he wants to say, but playing with Jordan made him also one of the top 50 players in the NBA.
Yeah, but people could make the argument the same with Jordan. They both complemented each other.
Yeah, but
So, but here's the perspective. Stephen Curry and Klay Thompson are the splash bros, but who's the most valuable splash bro?
probably Stephen Curry.
Because Stephen Curry is the two-time league MVP.
Yeah.
Stephen Curry is the one with the deadly.
Little shit, yeah.
Klay Thompson gets his just due also. Klay Thompson is a top shooter. Klay Thompson is a champion. But
it's not the
Stephen
same.
Curry's personality is different.
Yeah.
Stephen Curry's not Michael Jordan. Stephen
Yeah.
Curry's not the a-hole or the push your buttons. He's the more friendly, hey, what's up,
Yeah.
man? Like team player type, you know?
Yeah, but remember that they grew up on a different type of era. Probably when Michael was growing up, he was like pushed to get to that level.
Jealous by his older brother.
Yeah.
He wanted his father to move, he said. Maybe and maybe that resentment was built up after getting cut from his high school team, after maybe not being good enough,
Yeah.
maybe being told that you're not being good enough.
Yeah.
Maybe he just had a deeper, well, he did have a deeper.
And that made him the greatest. Like he basically came out every night to prove everybody that he was the best. Yeah.
Yeah, and that's what, you know, and at the end of the day, you can't, it's a popularity contest. And he was better,
Yeah.
but at the end of the day, his mentality is what really like pushed him to the next level.
Yeah.
So at the end of the day, this dude's worth like $2 billion, and this other guy about $100 million over his career. Can't compare that,
Yeah.
you know?
I mean, you could say that it's kind of like jealous of
It's the,
what.
it's the market. I mean, he's just mad because apparently the documentary made him look bad.
Yeah.
And he didn't like the fact that the documentary made him look bad. So, you know, I feel like Michael needs to give him his just due in terms of, hey, put out a statement. Nah, I would not be who I am without Scottie Pippen.
Yeah.
But Scottie Pippen said that. He said, I wouldn't be who I am without Michael. But let's not act like Michael wouldn't be who he is without me. You need that.
Yeah.
Because just like how people want to grab onto, oh, he's 6-0 in the finals.
I mean,
I'm 6-0 in the finals too.
I mean, I think.
I'm an all-star too. And without him, I took my team to the Eastern Conference Finals. What the freak did Jordan do before I got there? He couldn't get his team past Bird and Magic and all these other players until I got there too. So it just has to be, you know, it's not just one guy, but
Yeah,
the media.
but if was only Pippen on the Bulls, Pippen wouldn't get.
And you could say the same about Michael. You cannot say that.
I don't think like
How?
bro,
Did
like
he ever do it?
no,
So you can't.
no, but he couldn't.
How do you prove it?
Huh? He could have played with a guy that plays like Pippen. Pippen wasn't that.
Prove it, because Pippen went to the Western Conference Finals with Portland. Pippen went to the Eastern Conference Finals with who coach when Michael retired. So he has an argument.
It was the same team, just without Michael. So you can say it was just Kukoc.
So then why was that team even got to Eastern Conference Finals?
Huh?
When LeBron left the Cavaliers went from being the top contender to the last, and that made a lot of difference. So what is that?
But yeah, but what
Jordan
I'm saying
left
is like
for Jordan left for
when
years.
Jordan left,
Team was still competing.
because it was the same team. It was only missing Jordan.
So what you're saying is that the team was so good that it was going to succeed without him.
Yeah.
So that means that just because Michael Jordan tipped the scales, that's what. But then everybody's like, "Hey, look at me."
Look,
That's like Kevin Durant.
Look, this means,
That's like Kevin Durant going to the Golden State Warriors.
This is what it means. Like the team was built the way
Around
it was
him.
built, so they could work around Jordan. What happened
Well,
when
that team
Jordan
was so-
wasn't there?
They went to the Eastern Conference Finals,
And they lost.
but they got to the Eastern Conference
they
Finals.
lost.
That's better than that's better
Yeah.
than 75% of the entire league.
Yes, but they didn't.
Teams are happy to get one player to get their team to the playoffs.
But they
we give
lost.
people respect. We give
lost.
Allen Iverson so much respect for taking his.
What I'm saying
trash-ass team
what I'm
to
saying
finals.
is, if would it be the other way?
We don't know.
What happened if the one that retired was Pippen, or if Pippen
Michael
would've
Jordan,
changed?
Michael Jordan didn't take the Wizards to the playoffs.
But it was him and what was the name of the other guy? Richardson? No.
They were babies, man.
Yeah,
Can't
that's
even-
what I'm saying. Like, you cannot compare that team
Well-
to the Bulls without Jordan. It was basically
But
the
that's what
same
I'm saying.
team.
If
It was
if
Ron
he's
Harper.
the greatest of all time,
It was
if he's-
Ron Harper.
If he is that guy,
At
he
40.
has the ability to
At
take
40.
that team and lead. At 40? He was 38, 39. So that's just giving
and
me a better
still-
argument that
and
LeBron's
still-
better than him.
And still made it to the All-Stars.
Yeah, because he's popular.
You check the numbers.
He averaged
that
20 points a game. How many other players average 20 points a game and we're on a better team? And we're young and needed it.
I don't know.
That we
man.
have to give it to him because
I think people are is like hating on Jordan too much too.
or people are on Jordan's nutsacks too much.
Nah.
Because how dare people even say that? Yeah, no, Jordan was nothing without Pippen. Period.
I don't know, man.
He was nothing without Pippen. Because if you look at his playoff record before Pippen arrived, it was not good. And when it changed, he was the marketing guy. Right now, if people were to say, well, Jason Tatum and Jaylen Brown, whose team is it? It's Jason Tatum.
Yeah.
The media and the people have already embraced that this is our captain and this is our guy. But in the 08 Celtics, and look at me, I'm using like references to Boston basketball teams.
Yeah.
In the 08 team, the captain was Paul Pierce, but the best player on the team was Kevin Garnett.
Yeah.
So it's just it's just different. So that's how it is. That's how I feel from the perspective of I feel like Pippen should just get his respect.
I'm not saying people is not a good player. Again, he made it to the top 50 players of the NBA. Like,
Of all time.
yeah, so he is a good player, but he wasn't Jordan.
No, he wasn't. And nobody's saying he was Jordan, but people are
he
trying
cannot.
to make it
He
seem like
cannot.
he was like people are trying to make it seem like he was Mo Williams. You know what I'm saying? Like, look, when LeBron LeBron James, when he was the man on his team, he did not have a number 2. They're trying to act like Pippen was Mo Williams.
But what I told you, like they could have, Jordan couldn't have another player doing Pippen's role.
We don't know that because we never saw it.
We never saw it, but that doesn't mean it
couldn't.
couldn't happen. How many other
He
players
had the
played like
ability.
Pippen?
Yeah, so
How many other players played like Pippen at that era?
he was actually a dynamic player because he was 6'8", had great footwork, could shoot, can cut, had the ability to do.
Don't you think that Jordan couldn't have Sean Kemp with him,
Actually, Pippen's better than Sean Kemp.
but could it make him do the same with Sean Kemp?
We don't know because what if let's say you put Pippen and the glove together, Gary Payton? What if they could have worked out? Or what if you would have put two big men like Karl Malone and Pippen? The thing is, my point is there's always been a two-guy system.
Yeah.
Allen Iverson went to the Nuggets, and it was Allen Iverson and Carmelo Anthony. You know?
Yeah.
And that the only thing is, right now, look at, for example, Luka Doncic, Porzingis. There's two stars. There's one A, one B. Remember they tried in Houston Rockets. They tried to put back in the '90s. They used to when Pippen left the Bulls. They put Scottie Pippen and Charles Barkley, and they didn't get along.
Nope.
Which is why Pippen ended up getting traded to the Portland Trail Blazers.
So what happened when the Rockets won the 2 championships straight? Who was it? It was Hakeem and Drexler.
And Clyde Drexler, yep. Clyde Drexler was a great player. And
who was better? Who was the
Hakeem the Dream. Hakeem was the man.
See?
But Clyde Drexler had already been to the finals with the Portland Trail Blazers. He had already been an all-star by himself. He had already averaged multiple times 22, 23 a season. He was basically the Jordan of his team.
Yeah, and Pippen was also on a championship team. He went to the finals. He won
with Jordan always.
With Jordan, yeah, but
that's the stigma.
But that shows that he couldn't do it by itself.
Yeah, Jordan.
Huh?
Jordan.
Pippen.
Or Jordan. They never had a real chance for themselves because Jordan never went to a finals without Scottie Pippen.
But Pippen went to a finals and lost, went to a playoff and lost.
And Jordan did it in the first round. He lost against he had a 63-point game as a rookie against the Boston Celtics in 1985.
Who was on that team?
A player who's better than Jordan.
At that moment.
At that moment, see, everything's in time.
I feel like no, bro. Like, look.
So we should probably here probably.
Yeah.
This is an ongoing conversation.
Yeah, this is
the world to go on, and we haven't even brought LeBron into it.
Yeah, and he probably wouldn't be there like yet.
Yeah.
Nah.
This is episode 2.
Yeah, I think we're gonna wrap it up. Hopefully, again, you're gonna like what we're doing, and you're gonna support us. This should be up like in a couple of days. And
look at the view, man.
Next time, again, we were on Revere, Massachusetts. And next time, hopefully, we'll be on a different location. Peace.
Trail Podcast.